Okay, once again, good morning, everyone, and welcome to the Nourished Festival. This talk is Keto 101, and I am Susie Perkowitz. So, if you are gluten-free, I'd like you to think about the time when you first considered cutting gluten out of your diet. Did it seem like a really daunting thing to do? Overwhelming even? I bet it did. So why did you do it? Because you wanted to feel better, right? And of course, for some people, eating gluten is simply not an option. So now, if you've been gluten-free for a while, is it easier to do than when you first started? I hope so. For me, the same is true of the ketogenic diet. Again, good morning, everyone. I am Susie Perkowitz, and full disclosure, I am not a medical professional, nor a nutritionist. I am a person who has spent much of the last decade, though, researching and using the ketogenic diet, first as an endurance runner, and then later for diabetes management, after I was diagnosed with a monogenic form of diabetes called MODY. I have been in long-term nutritional ketosis for years. Now, a couple notes before we begin. First of all, if you want extra keto resources, you can visit my podcast website, smallbiteketo.com. There's plenty of great resources there for you. Secondarily, I just want to note that when you eat a well-formulated ketogenic diet, the natural byproduct is that it typically is gluten-free. And I know that is relevant to many of you here at the Nourish Festival. So here we go. Ready for a keto adventure? So one of my fundamental beliefs is that any eating style you embrace for good health has to be well formulated. It has to suit your unique physiology. And most importantly, it has to be enjoyable and easy enough to fit into your lifestyle, right? For me, that's a ketogenic diet. Now, even just saying the word ketogenic can be a lightning rod for a whole variety of opinions on the topic. I am sure you've heard many of them. Part of the problem is that many are just opinions without scientific basis. Other opinions are based on faulty science, research that looked at some form of low-carb eating, but never actually tested participants to make sure that they were in nutritional ketosis for the duration of the research period. Yet another big part of the problem is that what a ketogenic diet is can be interpreted in many different ways. Could I eat only ribeye steak and be keto? Yes. Could I be vegetarian and be keto? Yes. Could I eat lots of dairy and be keto? Yes. Could I avoid all dairy and be keto? Yes. Pretty confusing, right? So what exactly is a ketogenic diet? By definition, it is eating high enough fat, moderate protein, and low enough carbs so that your body starts to produce an abundant energy source called ketones. Your body then uses those ketones as its primary fuel instead of carbs that convert to sugar. Now, the ratio of fat to protein to carbs can vary depending on your lifestyle preferences and any health issues that you're dealing with. But generally, the goal is to get between 70 and 80% of your fuel from healthy fats. When I talk about being keto in relation to myself, I typically say that I practice nutritional ketosis, or I am in nutritional ketosis. I tend to shy away from using the word diet because just like being gluten-free, this is an actual lifestyle choice I am making for good health. And as I mentioned, there are many ways to eat ketogenically, which is part of the reason why people get so confused. For the purposes of this talk, I'm going to share what works best for me and what methods have helped me to be successful at staying in long-term nutritional ketosis. I do my best to follow what is typically called a well-formulated ketogenic diet. As a keto advocate, I've tried to figure out how to explain exactly what I do in a way that's easy for others to understand and to implement. And so here's my framework. Heads up. It is so simple that if you blink, you're going to miss it. Are you ready? Are you curious? Essentially, I eat a Mediterranean diet minus the carbs. That's it. Simple, isn't it? I call it a keto Mediterranean diet. So that means I eat an abundance of healthy, minimally processed oils like olive oil and avocado oil. I eat delicious proteins focusing on fatty fish, seafood, organic chicken, and grass-fed beef. I eat avocados and nuts and olives. And I eat an abundance of non-starchy vegetables like kale and broccoli and cauliflower and all sorts of delicious fresh herbs. I choose to eat full-fat dairy and eggs as well. And I eat a moderate amount of low-sugar fruit like berries. So by framing it this way, Mediterranean keto, does it seem extreme? Not really. Is it hard to cook? Not at all. Is it hard to eat out? No. Does it seem unhealthy? No again. In fact, it's quite a decadent way to eat because not only are all these foods delicious, but being in nutritional ketosis feels amazing. And that's the goal, consistently feeling good. Another benefit to this lifestyle is you don't count calories. The goal is simply to eat to satiety. So you rarely feel hungry. On this diet, I love fabulous gluten-free vegan bread made out of almond flour. This is one of my favorite brands here, and I don't know if you can see the back, but it is gluten-free. I also love incredible lasagna, and I make it out of hearts of palm noodles. So this is palmini, and it's one of my secret sources. And of course, there is my no potato salad made out of avocado mayo and cauliflower. And it is so good that my carb-loving brother-in-law ate an entire bowl of it without realizing there was no potato in it at all. Also, I don't know about you, but I love desserts, and keto desserts are the best. My favorite sweetener, my go-to, is called Swerve. Swerve is incredibly versatile. They have a granular variety that I love. They have a confectioner's variety that's really wonderful. And of course, you've got your brown sugar variety. So you've got all of your sweetener types covered with your Swerve. And it works fabulous. So with the Swerve, I make a low-carb mini cheesecake that my carb-eating friends literally say is the best cheesecake they've ever had in their life. How do I make it? Super simple. The crust, almond flour and butter. And the cheesecake filling, cream cheese, eggs, vanilla, lemon juice, and confectioner's Swerve to taste. It really doesn't get any easier than that or more delicious. I make all sorts of keto desserts, peanut butter cups, dark chocolate with almonds. Are you getting hungry yet? It's all decadently good and it's all keto. Even today, with the ever-growing body of medical research showing how beneficial being keto can be, some people will still argue that they need to eat carbs to survive. Not to get too technical, but the absolute truth is you do not need to eat any carbs whatsoever to survive. That's right. Your body makes enough carbs all on its own through your liver, through a process called gluconeogenesis. But I can't live without carbs. I have to eat carbs to be healthy. These were the things that my big sister said to me 3 years ago when I asked her to attend a conference called Low Carb USA. At the time, I wanted to go keto full time, but I was concerned that maybe I just wasn't understanding the research and maybe keto was dangerous like some people were saying. It just seemed like such a different way to fuel your body. And although I had been dabbling for years, I had been really scared to tell anybody for fear of judgment. So as a diabetic, I simply said, I'm low carb. And even with that, I had already been told by my diabetic nutritionist that being low carb even was too extreme. And what I needed to be doing was eating 40 to 60 grams of carbs per meal. What would she tell me if I admitted to her that I had been eating less than 40 grams of carbs in an entire day? So, by asking my sister to attend the conference with me, since she was a nurse and an avid follower of the USDA food guidelines, I wanted her to hear the research and give me her honest opinion. Frankly, I figured she would be the one to debunk this keto thing. Then I thought I could put the idea to rest and get on with eating all those carbs that my diabetic nutritionist prescribed and taking all that medication I would need to counteract all the high blood sugar from all the carbs. So my sister and I arrived in San Diego for the conference, and before it started, the night before, we went out to this amazing dinner. I had a beautiful piece of fish, lots of colorful veggies, and my sister sat there in front of me and picked up a piece of the most delicious smelling sourdough bread, hot out of the oven. As she took a bite out of it, she told me that there was no way she would ever give up eating carbs. And I believed her. The conference started the next morning, and by the end of that first day, after hearing speaker after speaker and research upon research, instead of debunking the diet, to my absolute shock, my sister decided to go keto full time and has never looked back at her beloved carbs since. Like me, she found the evidence just too compelling. So why go keto? Well, for starters, as I said, if you're already gluten-free, you are more than half of the way there. And the benefits of being keto are tremendous. Number one, if you're keto, it reduces your systemic inflammation. Think about it. A well-formulated ketogenic diet, it's rich in anti-inflammatory foods, eggs, olive oil, avocados, fatty fish, berries, and all sorts of wonderful veggies. A well-formulated ketogenic diet is also low in processed foods like refined carbs, sugar, starchy vegetables, highly processed oils, all those things that are so pro-inflammatory. And this is really important because so many diseases are exacerbated by chronic inflammation, diabetes, cancer, dementia, and all those autoimmune issues. Number two, being carb mitigates hormonal swings like blood sugar issues. Of the three nutrient categories, fats, carbs, and protein, fat is the most metabolically neutral. What do I mean by that? What I mean is that fat does not cause swings in different metabolites, like your blood sugar, for example. So if you're eating a diet rich in fats, you're only swimming at about this level of blood sugar rather than having these spikes and dips that are caused by eating carbs. Number three, being low carb will reduce your appetite. It just naturally does it. The point of the diet is to eat to satiety. So you won't get those mid-afternoon hangries anymore. And once you've been in ketosis for a while, you won't have those random mean attacks by the carb monster. What is the carb monster, you ask? The carb monster is that crazy being that gives you those intense cravings for carbs and sugar, especially the ones in processed foods. If you are feeling the effects of the carb monster, it means that you have not yet become fully keto adapted. Or it could mean that you've briefly gone out of ketosis. Because being in long-term nutritional ketosis keeps the carb monster in hibernation. Going out of ketosis, even for just one cheat moment, can reawaken that mean carb monster with a vengeance. So let's look at more benefits of the keto diet. Number four, ketones provide the ideal fuel source for healthy cells in your body. That's right. As a fuel source, ketones are primary fuel for healthy cells. They are so much harder for unhealthy and damaged cells to use. These unhealthy and damaged cells really want the glycogen fuel that's from carbs and sugar. That's why nutritional ketosis is being heavily researched as a safe adjunctive therapy for cancer treatments. Number 5, having more ketones equals better brain function. Ketones are neuroprotective for the brain because they increase mitochondrial efficiency. In fact, brain health was the very first area where nutritional ketosis was being studied almost 100 years ago by the Mayo Clinic. And now ketones are being researched for their benefits in areas like traumatic brain injury, stroke, and with neurodegenerative diseases like dementia and Parkinson's. Number 6, keto is great for weight loss or easy weight maintenance. I know you've heard about this one. So many celebrities are using for that. Because being in nutritional ketosis means that fat is your primary fuel. So if you want to reduce the amount of fat on your body, why not burn it through ketosis? Even better, on the keto diet, a greater proportion of the fat you will lose is going to come from visceral fat. What that means is that's the fat that's around your organs, right in your central core. That's the most dangerous kind of fat to store. Keto reduces that quicker than other diets. Number 7, being in nutritional ketosis will reduce your blood pressure. Isn't that wonderful? That's right. Keto is superior at blood pressure reduction when compared to a low-fat diet. Number 8, heart benefits. Being on a ketogenic diet shows significant improvements in health biomarkers associated with heart disease. Now, with the keto diet, I have to say adaptability is the key. It's really important for you to know that keto is completely adaptable to you. So if you don't eat dairy, you don't need to eat dairy to be keto. If you want to be vegetarian, you can be vegetarian and be keto. If you like certain spice profiles, go for it. And there are some incredible gluten-free keto products out there that are available to supplement with. For me, when I'm doing a race, I obviously can't carry a whole meal with me, but what I do carry are small packets of almond butter. So let's talk about Keto Tools. When you're first starting out, you won't know your limit of how many carbs you can eat and how many you need to stay under to be in ketosis. So at the very beginning, I recommend tracking what you eat in your favorite nutrition app. Specifically, you want to look at total carbs per day. Now, don't worry, you won't have to track your food forever. You just need to do it long enough so that you get a feel for where you need to be to stay in ketosis. For me, I found that I actually can eat almost 50 grams of carbs a day and stay in ketosis, provided they are healthy carbs like the ones found in fruits and vegetables. And this brings me to a really important point. Not all carbs are created equal. If you're doing this for good health, stick to good carbs. Once again, the key is to keep your carb ratio low enough to stay in ketosis. So, how do you know if you're in ketosis? Well, there are 3 ways. If you're new to this, the least expensive option is urine testing through urine test strips. They're available online, they're very inexpensive, and they're really super easy to use. The only thing to note is that this is the least reliable option because your readings can be impacted by things like if you're dehydrated or not. The other 2 options are blood testing and breath testing, and both are very effective. I prefer blood testing, and my absolute favorite meter is called the Keto Mojo. Looks like this. And the bonus with the Keto Mojo meter is that it is a dual meter, which means it's testing not only how many ketones are in your blood, it can also test your blood sugar. And then it will upload it to your smartphone. It's really easy to use, and it lets me know right away if I've eaten too many carbs in a meal and if I'm in ketosis or not. And as I said, the bonus is it lets me know my post-meal blood sugars, which is really useful for anybody with diabetes, pre-diabetes, or metabolic dysfunction. Once again, if you want more keto resources, you can visit my podcast website, smallbiteketo.com. On Small Bite Keto podcast, we break down keto into bite-sized bits so you can implement it in your life easily. Okay, so finally, How do you know if keto is working for you? Like anything, it will take some time. While some test results will change rapidly, like your blood sugar or reduction of insulin resistance if you have metabolic disorder, other results will take a little bit more time. This is a period called fat adaptation. So once you're solidly staying in nutritional ketosis, I recommend giving yourself a nice solid 3 months to get fat adapted. Do your best during this time not to swing in and out of ketosis, or it will impact your results. Then after those 3 months of adaptation, compare your lab work to that from prior to starting keto. Is your blood pressure down? If you are diabetic or pre-diabetic, have your blood sugars become more stable? Do you need less medication? Have your inflammatory markers come down, like your C-reactive protein? Also, take note of how you feel. Is your energy more consistent throughout the day? Are you enjoying not having those carb monster attacks? Are you feeling better? Sleeping better? Having less aches and pains? If you are consistently eating a well-formulated ketogenic diet, you should feel better and be easily staying in a steady state of nutritional ketosis. And if you're ever confused about what to eat, think of it as Mediterranean keto. Eat all of the beautiful, whole, real foods you would on a regular Mediterranean diet, minus those carbs. And just make sure you're getting at least 70% of your calories from healthy fats like olive oil and avocado oil. This should feel not like deprivation, but like decadence. As Karen Samuelson said, life is too short for fake butter and fake people. As you explore on your keto adventure, check out Small Bite Keto Podcast, where we make doing keto easy, one bite at a time. Thank you, everyone, and I am open for any questions if you have any. All right, well, I want to wish everyone a wonderful day. I hope you enjoy the rest of the Nourished Festival, and I hope you give keto a shot because it's really much easier to do than you think, and the health benefits are wonderful. Again, thank you and have a great day.